So some interesting, I would imagine, some challenges in putting together Cinema Purgatorio from the editing standpoint. Speak to that a little bit. It's really not something I know an awful lot about, but
yeah. Well, Chris came to us. He had done a rough cut early, and then came back, and one of his producers or friends, I guess, Lee.
Yeah.
Lee had she had contacted me, and she said, "Hey, I got this great little film," which they had come. They were actually in a rush to come over to our studios. Something happened where they were unable to edit somewhere else. They called me to friends, and they're like, "We need a place to edit for a week," and I had room. And so then they came back later to have me look at the film. And the thing that struck me about Cinema Purgatorio was really it had excellent writing. It had excellent development of character, and I really saw something that could come out even further with just really developing the timing that was already there. And so we worked on it for a couple months, and I was really happy with it. I was really happy where it had gone, and I felt that we had a spunky little package. The thing that hit me is it really reminded me of the early comedies that I grew up on from the 80s, and had a great little happy, simple, character-driven feel. You know,
when you're making,
is that the Bill Murray influence?
yeah.
Not so Bill Murray influence.
Yes. We were writing with him in mind, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
The thing when you make a movie, our movie was a $50,000 movie, shot on a DSLR camera, much like that camera right there. And the thing that happens when you get to the end and you're putting it all together, there's so many things that are possible to make it look better, you know, color correction, great sound design, but those pieces tend to just be scattered. You know, there's not like a one-stop shop for a independent person to just walk in and just finish their movie. And so it's a really haphazard. I'm carrying hard drives around to different places in Austin and Atlanta and Columbia and Greenville. And the moment, I remember the first time we started cutting, you'd watch the movie and you're like, let's just start now. I just want to start messing with this thing.
Yes.
And I texted you and I said, I think Scott's going to help us. And then,
But we have to start now. And I was in Greenville, so I ran I ran to our other editor, who was like an hour away, to get the hard drives, and said, "Sorry, thank you for all your work. We think you've done as much as you can. I'm taking these." and then I ran them down to Atlanta, and Chris met me kind of a little bit halfway, and we did the handoff, and I'm like, "Okay." So Scott's being really modest. I mean, I would say he saved our movie in a lot of ways.
it was just an organizational.
But also, there are movies within movies within movies. So making sense of that had to be a challenge as well.
It was. There were definitely scenes that it was important to promote the perspective of the narrative, and I think my goal was to bring that more out, and that you could at least make those suggestions earlier in the film, so that when things happened, the audience was prepared. I got a comment last night. They said, somebody in the audience said, "Yeah, I knew when that kid was doing things, and that kind of like helped." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's
You're
great."
Supposed to get
we
that.
picked up on that.
You pick up on that.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, these aren't mysteries.
Yeah.
That first day when we edited, though, I just want to say this. When you started cutting the scene and you were like, "Look, we can do this," and you're like, "Do," and it was like the first moment making the movie. I just exhaled and just sat back in my chair. I was like, it's all going to be okay. I almost started crying. I texted Emily and I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm actually working with the real editor. And he knows what he's doing, and we're going to be, this is going to be good.
Yeah, because it was very, we took it as far as we could with our, when you're an independent filmmaker, you end up wearing a lot of different hats and doing a lot of different things, but it doesn't mean you do them well. Right. And we'd written the film, and we'd done the directing and the producing, and I feel like we'd done a really good job with that. And then we'd taken it as far as we could with the people that we knew, just freelance people and around us in South Carolina, to a rough cut, which held together. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like, I just know there's a better movie in here. And that's when Scott came in and saved us.
And there are two things I would say just as encouragement to other filmmakers that relate to this. One is, you should be ambitious for your work. Don't start a project that you just know you can do. I mean, let there be some ambition to what you're doing, something that's going to stretch you as an artist. But when you do that, realize you will come to a point where you need help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, sometimes we as artists, we feel like we have to have every answer, and we have to be like awesome and good at everything, and nobody can help me. I gave that up really quick when I started making movies. It's just like, please, can you help? Can you help me be better at this? And see, like, we had this awesome movie, and everybody thinks, wow, Chris and Emily, you made a great movie. And I'm like, thanks, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
If audience reactions are any indication, it's got a bright future on the circuit, and hopefully for a long, long time to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.